I'd like for you to do today is sit back and learn about how do I get my first client. So, in a sense, today's a webinar that you're actually going to do some learning. Okay, so this is a good opportunity as we kind of get some things started here, um, of thinking what you're going to need to do to kind of get your business up and going, and try to find that perfect client for you. Because the last thing anybody wants to do is invest any amount of money. And to me, folks, I don't care if it's $25, $30, or $30,000, or even more than that. There's a lot of business opportunities, a lot of franchises out there that are much more than that. We know that. But listen, a dollar to get today is hard to get. We don't want anybody here at ABS to feel like they've lost their money or they've lost their investment. We're really here to help you. And this all starts like now. Even though that you haven't signed the agreement or you haven't gone through training or anything else, you're going to find out on today's webinar that we're going to give you information that we'll go into more in depth during the training, so that whenever it's time for you to get out there and start marketing your business, you'll already have some knowledge, getting started, some stuff going. So as we get started here today, I want you to make sure that if you got a question, feel free to put it over in the Q&A box, and I'll get to it as I kind of get through the webinar today. So just pull up, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and let's get down to it. So let's learn a little bit more about the medical billing franchise. Well, first of all, what's happening in 2024? I'll tell you a lot of what's happening in 2024. Doctors are trying to figure out what are they going to do with unreimbursed claims from 2023. That's one of the areas that the doctors are trying to figure out. What am I going to do differently than I did last year? It seems as though I've lost money. Now, I'm going to give you a real live story that's just happened to me just within the last couple of weeks. Because of all the networking that I've done, the people that I know, I got a call the other day, and someone said, "Hey, Eric, do you guys still do medical billing?" I said, "Well, it depends. Because I'm involved in so many other things in the healthcare industry." But I said, "Tell me the story. What's going on?" Well, this doctor is trying to figure out what's going on. He was trying to figure out what we were going to charge him. I told him, 6, 7, could be as high as 8%. And the doctor came back to him and says, "Well, look, that's better than zero of what they're getting." So people always ask us in these webinars, are doctors still looking for medical billers? I'm telling you, they're out there. And this one came across my desk without me even doing really any marketing. And so, but it's because I'm involved, and I do network myself out there in so many different areas. So, folks, there are doctors who have claims that have not been reimbursed, and they want to get their money back. Someone just typed in, let me see if I can read it and make sure I can answer if this is a good time. I was told that the big companies are doing the medical billing for 2%. How then can we at ABS clients that get clients that can pay 8% or 9%? Does this mean that the market is saturated when it comes to getting clients or ROI? All right, Emmanuel, that's a great question. Well, I just told you about a doctor right now who was willing to take off the cuff me charging them 7%. Why is he not going to somebody that's going to charge him 2%? I'll tell you why. Because of that first word right there. They've got unreimbursed claims. I'll tell you why that they charge sometimes 2%. Because what happens is that they charge 2% on a first-time submittal. If they have to go work that claim, they charge more. So it's a bait and switch is what happens. So hopefully, Emmanuel, that helps answer your question. So no, the market's not saturated out there. I'm telling you, doctors are tired of, listen, this is what this doctor was telling me. And I'm sorry, I haven't talked to him. I was just talking to somebody that was trying to get me to be introduced to somebody to possibly do their billing. And I said, "Well, tell me what's going on." And the doctor, what I heard from this person, it says that they had someone that was doing billing in-house, and they still weren't getting reimbursed. So even some of the bigger companies that are out there that said that they can do it as low as 2%, listen, they're not doing it for 2%. I promise you. There's no way that anybody could do it for 2%. And and really stay alive unless they're doing some back charges that if a claim doesn't get reimbursed, that they're going to go have to go resubmit that claim, and there's going to probably be another charge that goes along with that on top of what they've already submitted. So what we're doing, we're only doing a percentage of what gets actually reimbursed. Sometimes what they'll do, they'll say 2% of what the charge is. So it's in the fine print of how all this works. So hopefully, Emmanuel, again, that helps answer your question. Something new that's going on in healthcare, or really not nothing new, but what makes rolling from 23 to 24 a challenge for doctors is the HIPAA issues. Because now their team, whoever their HIPAA compliancy officer in that doctor's office, now has to get everybody back up to where they were at the beginning of 2023, make sure that they've got all their updates in their HIPAA files, in HIPAA folders, and their education, get all that updated again. There's a lot of things going on there. There's some new rules with Medicare. There's also new deductibles. People's deductibles are starting over. And I'm going to tell you, doctors are losing patients. They're losing patients because either they're poor service or they've got an inside biller who is late on trying to get claims out the door. Then all of a sudden it gets pushed back on the patient, and the patient gets frustrated. And all of a sudden they're getting calls from collection agencies because the biller decided to turn these people over to collections instead of just trying to provide better customer service so that doctors don't lose their clients. Because see, folks, if a doctor has hired somebody that does his or her billing in the office, remember, there's no incentive for them to get things right. They're going to get a paycheck regardless whether the doctor gets reimbursed or not. However, you, as a medical billing company, the only way that you are getting paid is whenever you're getting the doctor paid. So there's an incentive there. So that's why some of these new things here in 2024 are so vital. And again, kind of like this picture saying, the doctors are going, I don't want another year like I had in 2023. I'm ready for a change. So what we need to do, as Dr. Vicki Ragnar has always told us to do, is find the pain and then solve it. That's what she does. And that's what she's taught us. And that's what she's going to help you identify with some of your doctors out there. So what's the first step of what you need to do to get and find these doctors? Again, they're just not going to be as easy as it came to me in the last few weeks of going, wow, I was just on the phone with somebody and someone says, hey, do you do medical billing? It's really what the question came up. And I said, well, we used to do a lot of it, and we've moved in some other areas, but hey, I'm always looking for business. And so sometimes, just kind of knowing who you know is where you need to be. But how did I get to that spot? Well, I'm going to tell you right here is that I started to build strong networking alliances. That's what I did. And that's what I've been doing for 17 years, being in healthcare. Think of this, ABS becomes a springboard for a lot of different things for you in healthcare. The revenue cycle management industry, which is called medical billing, will help you springboard into yourself in a lot of different areas in healthcare. Gosh, you can go into doing billing for labs, then you get involved with labs. You might even find out that you want to build a lab, or you want to do something else in healthcare. Like one of our business owners here at ABS started and grew a pretty big medical billing business. And then she found out that she was doing a little bit better with just consulting. So she started doing just consulting with doctors. Now she's doing consulting and some of the credentialing for doctors. So she's really going in there and doing some deep dives. And so, gosh, you can just kind of roll with the punches as you kind of go through this. But how do you get to the point where doctors go, man, I need to talk to an Alexandria or a Carlos or an Emmanuel or whoever you might be on today's webinar? Well, I'm going to tell you, what you need to do is start now. And start now because this is a good time of the year for you to start getting out there and learning how to build strong networking alliances. Where do you find these folks? I'm going to tell you one of the places that you can do that is through a BNI group, or I love Chamber of Commerce's, or meetup groups, or whatever you want to find out there. Folks, I'm going to tell you, just about every week of the day, there's either a business breakfast somewhere, a business luncheon somewhere, or some after hours business thing going on somewhere within your community. Now, what you're going to find there are people who are doing business. And a lot of those people, as you'll find out if you start to attend these networking meetings, that they know doctors or they know someone who knows of a doctor. See, you don't always have to go out there and bang the doors of a doctor or go from doctor's office to doctor's office. Go to a place where there's business people. And if you were on the webinar last week, I ended about talking about this topic. You need to start building what I call a business story. You need to start developing your own business story, because if you don't understand what you're trying to do and you don't have a story to tell, then folks, stop all that you're doing and let's get that worked on. Okay, so what does it mean to build a business story? I like to start building my story not by me telling somebody else about everything that I do. The way I start my business story is I just try to find out what other people are doing, and I ask them questions about their business, and I'm going to say, tell me your story about your business. What got you into real estate? What got you into marketing in healthcare, or what made you become a pharmacist, or what drove you to work in a home health industry, what caused you to work in a nursing home or at a hospital. What drove you to do these things? And what you're going to find out is there's a story behind it. And what I want you to start to understand is, if you're going to get involved in this business of revenue cycle management, you too need to have a story. Because promise you, somebody's going to ask you about your story. And if you're going to go, well, I just thought I'd try to figure out something to do because I wanted to work for myself. I just wanted to be at home. I wanted to do, that's not going to get you anywhere. You need to have a driving story of what it means, because you could say this. I'm going to tell you a story. If someone asked me, Eric, what got you involved in doing medical reimbursements or medical billing? I'd say, well, I'm glad you asked that question, because what I found out in my community here is I've got some doctors friends that I've come to know, and what I found out that their home work lifestyle and what we call this work-life balance is really out of whack. And it's out of whack because I found out that their reimbursements are in the tank. So guess what's happening to the healthcare industry within my community? It's actually going down. We've got sicker people in my community because my doctors that I do know, they're struggling with their revenue. So what I like to do, I like to help my entire community. And one way I can do that is help my doctors make sure that they are financially secure so they provide a better health care to my people that are around me, my friends, my family, and within my community. That's my story. That can become your story. But see, that's my story. And because I'm looking far past just what's in it for me, I'm looking at what's in it for my community. What's in it for the doctors that I get to know. Some people might call this an elevator pitch, okay? You can create an elevator pitch, and we're going to teach you how to create this elevator pitch. But I like to make it more like a story. I like to make it real. I like to make it because it impacts other people, because I like to help other people. So what I want you to start doing is thinking, what is the why? What is your why of why you want to get involved in medical billing? And I want you to start creating that. And by the time we get to the Wednesday webinar next week, I may ask for some of you to kind of put your why in the question and answer box, because I want you to go walk away from today's webinar with an action item. I don't want you sitting here going, man, Eric and Patrick and Adam and Jason and the rest of the crew of the guys here are just trying to sell me something because they want to sell me and move on to the next person. You can see here in this webinar, we're not trying to get you to buy into what we're doing and move on to the next person here. what we're teaching you today can actually help you in every area of what you're doing in business. That's what's so important about what we do here at American Business Systems. Hang on one second. So I want you to start developing your why. What is your why? Why you want to get involved in this? Obviously, if it's to help you and your family, let that be the last thing that you talk about. Think about how is it going to impact your doctors that you might be doing some business with? How's it going to impact your community? And those are the stories, because I'm telling you, you tell that type of a story to another business person, they're going, okay, this person's different. Because typically what people like to tell me is all about why they're better than the next person. Make it a business story. And I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks, because I really want you to have this, because telling your story and your why is a great way to do it, especially whenever you get to an organization like BNI. Because what BNI does, they're very selective of their people that they get together, the business people they get together. If you go join up and look at a BNI group and you go find one in your area, and I encourage everybody today, so here's another action item I want you to do. I want you to find in your area, your zip code, wherever it might be, a BNI group, and get ready to tell me about it next week. And what you can find out there is that they're very selective on, when you join that particular group, you're only going to find one person that's in real estate. Unlike when you go to a chamber of commerce, there may be 25 people there out of real estate, or 25 different people in healthcare. With BNI, there may be maybe other people in healthcare, but you're going to have only like one home health agency, one hospital group, one group that might be a doctor. You might find one that might be a nursing home group, or what's called an LTAC, a long-term acute care. But then you'll always find only one medical biller. So it's not going to be like you're going to be surrounded by other people trying to compete, but you're going to be surrounding yourself with other people that are also marketing to other professional people in the marketplace. And a lot of those people are going to be doctors, because real estate people deal with doctors, insurance people deal with doctors, people that are doing financial planning deal with doctors, painters deal with doctors, contractors deal with doctors. So you can see, gosh, I just listed off 5 different sectors just now of people who will probably have some kind of contact with a doctor somewhere. And believe me, if they've done some business with them, that's going to help you develop again, because you've got a good story and you're going to get to tell your story. People's going to go, you know what? I just ran into somebody the other day that was telling me they were having trouble getting reimbursed from Medicare or from Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever it might be. So find yourself a BNI group. Also find, I'm going to go back to the slide right before here. Find out if your area has a chamber of commerce. The reason I say that, just because, let's see, what is today? It was yesterday. Our Chamber of Commerce, local Chamber of Commerce, had a luncheon yesterday in our little community, and it's less than 10,000 people. Now, we're surrounded pretty close. We're not too far from Fort Worth, where we live, and some other surrounding towns where we live. But just at our luncheon alone, there was 150 people there. So you're going to find somebody that is involved with a connection with a doctor somewhere, somehow. So look for your BNI group, look for your Chamber of Commerce. If you can't find one in your town, go to the next town over. They're going to have somebody. They're going to have something out over there. So that's part of your homework. So two pieces of homework today. I want you to be active today on this webinar. So here's your action item so far. I want you to start figuring out your business story. Tell us your why, of why you're wanting to do and get involved in this type of business. Number 2, I want you to actively go find a Chamber of Commerce or business BNI group, Business Network International, and go find one of those groups, because the BNI, they cost money, but I think they let you attend at least once or twice to a couple of those to make sure that it's a good fit for you. So go check that out. Let's get that done. All right. So what do you do after that? Let's say that you do end up finding a doctor, and all of a sudden, now you need to start marketing these doctors. What you can do is offer any doctor's office a lunch and learn. Now, this is where you're going to have to kind of break through maybe your little shyness or anything, and actually go to a doctor's office and say, hey, I understand that you probably have a lunch list. I'd like to get signed up because I'd like to probably bring some pizza around on a given day, and just to be here and be kind to do that. Drop off some material, because you're going to see here there are some very important marketing pieces that you can actually leave for the doctor and or for the office manager. And then sometimes if somebody that might be pretty good at this, we've got enough educational information that we can show you how to do a quick little 10-minute presentation on HIPAA compliancy, or the doctor, some of the areas where the doctors are struggling about getting reimbursed on their claims, or some new information that's coming down from Medicare, and how codes need to be coded properly. Now, all of a sudden I said the word code and people might be freaking out going, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to do medical coding. That's not it, folks. We've got the material for you to teach you. So all you got to do is parrot it back out there. And if someone asks you a question, goes, that's a great question. Let me get back with my team and I'll be able to get that question answered for you. Well, who is your team? Well, ABS is your team. You can get back over here, call support, get a hold of Tim Warren. His staff here will help you, just present that question and go, hey, I was just at a quick little lunch and learn the other day, got to ask this question. Is this something we can do? If we can, we'll show you how to do it. If we're not, we're going to go back and show you how to take care of that. You can say, well, we don't do it that way, but we do it this way. But lunch and learns are just a great little opportunity for you to get out there and really get connected in the community. Now, I say that a lot because a lot of folks on this webinar today might be worried about, gosh, I'm not a real salesperson. I'm not really good in front of people. I want you to forget about selling anything. Okay. You are looking to become a business owner here, to run a business that is your business. And I want you to start thinking more highly of yourself than just thinking of yourself, oh, I'm just going to try to start a little business here. I'm going to try to learn how to do medical billing. But part of what you got to do, people are going to have to believe in you. And if you don't believe in you, how is anybody else going to believe in you? And that's one of the things that we're going to teach you here at American Business Systems is how to believe in yourself. And it's really kind of starting here today. That's why I want you to know what your why is all about. Your why may be because you really do want to get out of the rat race of having to get up every single morning and driving across town, or you want to do better things with your family, just like Patrick Phillips wanted to do better things for his family. And now he's created this organization to where he was able to turn it over to his son. His son's going on through it. He's got other people involved in this as family members here at American Business Systems. That, folks, this is a network of just people loving people, helping people. So if that becomes your why, then let's turn it into a good story, and so that you can get out there and start building these strong networking opportunities. For those that want to become very venturous, we've got educational events that you can make some presentations to some bigger organizations. There might be a part where you connect with Dr. Vicki Rackner, and through a Zoom meeting, have her attend, let her be the expert, and sell your business. So now with the internet and everything that we've got here with Zoom meeting and everything, you can have a special guest speaker, Dr. Vicki Rackner. She could help make a lunch presentation for you. There may be another American Business Systems business owner who might be willing to do that. You would just get back with your business coach here, or with support once you become part of American Business Systems. Say, hey, I've got this doctor's office or this group of office managers. I've been invited to come out here, make a quick presentation. Do you think we can do it via Zoom? Could somebody help me with that? That's what we're here for. Okay, so just never turn down an opportunity. Another way of doing this is through direct marketing. And that's where, you know what, to me, call me one of those weirdo guys like this. I'm one of those type of guys that I love getting out there and mixing it up within the community. Do I get a little nervous whenever I have to stop the car and I get out and I'm thinking, oh boy, is anybody going to accept me here? Is there a little nervousness there? Of course there is, because you're going to be talking to people that you've never talked to before. But folks, it's okay. People are just people, and they may put up a front and may think that you're not going to be able to break through. But people are people, and if you're kind to people, you're going to go a long way. That's just what I'm going to tell you. But we have specific ways of how to direct market. Now, I'll give you one little hint. I've already mentioned the whole thing about HIPAA compliancy. Once you got started, and let's say that you got your business card, you got all of your marketing material, you got it all branded just for you. You've got maybe one of the books that we're going to show you how to give out. And one of the questions that I would encourage you to go up and work, if you're going to do a little bit of direct marketing, just go by, ask this question. Say, "Hi, my name is whatever it is. I'm with whatever company that you call yourself." And just say, "Hey, I'm here to see your HIPAA compliancy officer." And just stop and let people's reaction happen. You would almost think that you're part of the FBI or something, and all of a sudden they go, "What's going on? What's he here for? Why do they want to talk to the HIPAA compliancy officer?" It's not like you've rolled up in a black, Suburban and there's people ready to jump out. But there is a certain fear that kind of comes along with when you start talking about HIPAA, because they might think that they've done something wrong. And once you find out who that HIPAA compliance officer, it could be the office manager. It could be someone that's not the office manager that does just strictly HIPAA compliancy. And it could end up being the doctors themselves. And all you want to do is says, "Hey, I'm just here. I'm letting you know. I know that you're probably getting ready to go through your HIPAA compliancy updates for 2024. I'm here to help you with that service. We have everything that you're going to need for your education, for all your new updates, for all the new updates that are coming out of HIPAA." And I just like to come by and see if I can make an appointment, kind of share with you some of the things that you're going to need to do, make sure that you're up to date. And if we can be able to help you, then we'll talk see if there's anything we can help you out with. I'll do like an analysis of your practice, because that's going to lead you to end up doing what's called a practice analysis. And that's really all you want to be able to do. So you can come back and make a presentation and say, "Hey, based upon the things that you said, here's some of my recommendations. We can handle those." And then at that point, then you can start discussing what your rates may be. And that's what we do here. But anybody that's on this call today could go to any doctor's office today or tomorrow and just say, "Hey, do you have a HIPAA compliance officer?" So you could start doing it that way and start making, if they don't have one, or if they do have one, just say, "I'm just here to take down their name and number. I might want to follow up with them. Can I have their contact information? Because I'm sure they're busy at this point." You can go start doing some marketing right now. Who knows? You might end up with a lead before you even get started here with American Business Systems. Now, here's a novel one. In your networking, building your networking team, part of that team could be actually finding pharmaceutical reps or healthcare people that are selling doctors knees and hips, and all the way from knees and hips to bandages to tongue depressors to devices or testing equipment that's in there. Listen, there are hundreds of sales reps, and guess what? I can promise you they already have some type of relationship with a doctor. They may not be doing the doctor's billing. That's one of the things that you would be doing. So that's one of the areas that you can find someone that you can team up with them. And there's two things you can actually do with a sales rep. You can either one, become like what we call like a power partner with them, and where they really, maybe because of their contract, they can't moonlight or anything, but they can at least introduce you to somebody. There may be some out there that are 1099ers out there, some people that are contractors out there, and they can do whatever they want to do. And you might want to strike up a little deal with them and say, "Hey, once I get this doctor signed and we've got the like basically like a down payment with that doctor, kind of get some things started. You know what? I'll split that cost with you, or I'll give it all to you. It doesn't matter, because you're going to end up getting the doctor's billing." So here's a way that you might, through networking, build a strong networking group of people. And then we're going to start teaching you how to just use the most simplistic way of finding and building building a strong networking group. And that's sometimes just through the people that you know, what we call your warm market. So in the whole part of getting all this started here, we're going to teach you how to ask the right questions, start listening out to people. And that's going to be between two sessions. Now, I'm going to tell you real quickly that your training sessions happen via a Zoom meeting, just like what we're doing right now, except you won't be muted. You'll have this one-on-one with your instructor here. And this is going to probably take you about anywhere from 10 to 12 days to get through that training. But in between those days, you're going to have some time where your trainer is going to tell you to do some things, just like I'm trying to help you to get ready to go do some things after this webinar today. So there's going to be some action items that you're going to need to come back ready to be prepared for when this next your next training session comes up. So part of that is to build what we call your warm market list. And then we're going to show you how to utilize that warm market list to get to people that you know and already trust you already to help you move to that next section here. So everything that I've talked with you from the very beginning so far, and folks, we only have about, looks like 17 more minutes. I told you this hour goes by quickly. I'm already just showing you one of the biggest areas that we teach you on what to do to start building what we would call your target market group. Okay. And then we're going to take that target market and we want you to become a magnet for that target. We want those people to start coming to you instead of you trying to go out to them. So once we start to help you build this, this is what we're going to try to help you do. Remember, everything we're doing is trying to help you get that first client. Even from today, before you've even signed the agreement, we're trying, you can see here, hopefully you can walk away and go, I can't believe they're giving so much information out here on these webinars, because we truly believe in what we do. And we know that you just need all the other parts of what we have here. So what we're trying to do is say, look, folks, we've got the answers. We know how to get you in front of doctors. We know what to do to help you get to that first client. So moving on to the next little section here. Now we're going to have to probably zip through this pretty quickly. And what you're going to need to do is what's called demonstrating your credibility. So we've just gone through this entire part of marketing yourself, getting your story told out there, getting your business community of people out there, knowing that you are in revenue cycle management mode, okay? So we've just got this big collection of all these different people who are business owners, people who might be doing business with doctors. They might, some of their clients might know some doctors. So you start to build your pool of your target market. Now, what's going to happen whenever a doctor says, okay, I want to talk with you, but tell me about your credibility. What's your background here? So first of all, you got to understand that doctors only listen to a lot of other doctors. Even though that one doctor has never met another doctor, but if they hear it coming from another doctor, that brings a lot of credibility. I'll give you an example. Have you ever heard this kind of slogan? 9 out of 10 dentists says that you use this particular toothpaste, it's going to make your teeth whiter. Okay. There's something that's called authority there. If it comes from a doctor or a dentist or somebody, there's a little bit more credibility to believe that person because they've got some credentials here, right? So they've got a way of kind of shortcutting. That's what it's called in the psychological world of trying to how to make decisions. People like to shortcut because they go, gosh, if a doctor is saying that, then it's got to be right. So one of the ways that we help you with that is we're going to introduce you again to Dr. Vicki Rackner. Now, Dr. Rackner, you've heard me. We did a webinar with her not too long ago, but she's written a couple of books, matters not more than just a couple, several books. But one of her books that she actually uses in marketing to doctors to help financial advisors, help doctors get more money and save the money that they have and maybe even build that wealth. She wrote a book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. Now, that's a book that you can get. It's on Amazon. You can read it. You can see why the doctors are not rich. And that is basically, it is a myth. But one of the things that she will do and has done for a lot of our business owners, let's say that you go out to one of these networking meetings and you get a name of 3 or 4 doctors and you go, gosh, out of those 3 or 4 doctors, I think I like these 2 that I might want to get introduced to. How about if we have Dr. Vicki Rackner write a letter on your behalf, introducing you to that doctor before you go back out there and market? And that's what that little letter is right in the middle there. So that's a part of your investment here at American Business Systems. So what does your investment consist of? The $30,000? It consists of all your training, all of your support, lifetime of support, and a doctor writing a letter on your behalf, introducing you to those 2 to 3, 4 doctors that you really want to go target after, and let her send a letter along with a book to that doctor introducing you. That shows a lot of credibility because she actually talks about you in that particular letter. So also doctors like to listen to other industry leaders. And how do we deal with that? Well, we get Adam co-wrote this book with 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. This is a little small book. And you can see in that little yellow area right there, we got specific little stickers there. We're going to show you how these are something that you can print on your printer or have printed real quickly for you that you can stick on there. It says complimentaries of your medical billing company with your contact information. Just drop that off. Remember, let's say that you're going around and you're just saying, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm with so and so medical billing company. Who is your HIPAA compliancy officer?" You find out who they are, and they go, "You know what? I know you don't have time today. I got some other people I need to see this afternoon, which is kind of in your area. But until I can get back with you, we can set an appointment. Do you mind giving this book to your doctor as a compliment gift from me to him or her? And then I'll follow back up with you in another day or so, and we'll set up our appointment to talk about some HIPAA stuff. Is that okay with you? And now you're dropping off your card, this book. Someone within their staff is giving that book to a doctor. Okay. Folks, this is how it's done. Now, there's another book that comes with your business package here. It's called The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, what's interesting to hear, unlike the little book that I just showed you, on this particular book, you actually get your name printed on the front cover and inside of the cover because you were the one that has written the foreword to the book. Now, let's say that you do that. Now, one of the things is that with Dr. Vicky's letter, she's actually talking about the New Thriving Medical Practice because she's the one that helped author the book, and she's going to make sure that that book gets in the doctor's hands. And again, what better way to have your contact information on it given to the doctor so that whenever you go back over to the doctor's office, the doctor or the staff member goes, "Gosh, didn't you write a book called The New Thriving Medical Practice? I thought I saw your name on the book." I did. I wrote the foreword to the book. I thank you for asking. Well, all of a sudden, your credibility has just gone sky high. So you can see that we're teaching you how to build your credibility through your marketing campaigns here. Another way to do that is through your website. Folks, you don't have time to sit around trying to figure out what kind of website you need to design. We have all the templates with all of the printed material that you need in there. So many different templates that we have for you to start taking advantage of. As we start wrapping up here, we've got about 10 more minutes. I'm going to try to get through the last part of this. And I want you to understand this, that I want you to learn how we're going to teach you how to build with proven solutions. What are the proven solutions? All of these that you have here, whether it's revenue cycle management, iClaim, EMRX, Quick Collect, Audit Guard, CodeWrite, Virtual Care, Compliancy Guard, Choice Pay, Auto Card, Credentials Now, and if anybody wants to end up doing any dental billing, we have that as well. These are proven solutions for whatever's going on with the doctor. I'm going to highlight a couple of these. Let's first of all talk about this whole thing about coding. And when you get started here, you probably don't know anything about coding, but I'm going to tell you what, that there are people who need coding. CodeWrite gives you the option and the opportunity to market your coding part of your business to doctors, because through CodeWrite, we have certified professional coders that will help you get everything done. So if you've got a doctor who is still trying to make sure that they're coding properly, that can be done. Along with those same folks, there's a service that they provide for our ABS business owners here, what's called Audit Guard. So before you even do any type of billing, this might be a great solution, because any doctor, day or night, end of the year, middle of the year, the beginning of the year, 3/4 of the year, any doctor is going to find themselves underneath some type of insurance audit and or Medicare audit. So what Audit Guard does is, well, we can say, market this service to these doctors. Sometimes we might simply ask, when was the last time that your practice went through an audit? Did you go through one with Medicare? Did you go through one with Blue Cross Blue Shield, with Aetna, Cigna? Which group did you do? How did you fare? And if they come back and go, "Man, we really got hammered." Okay. Did you get everything corrected? How about if we do an audit on some of the same type of charts that they audited you, but instead of you getting dinged, all we're going to do is charge you for the service. And then at that point, then we're going to help you while you're not under duress, trying to help you get these codes up to where they need to be. That's an area where we can help you. And that's one of those proven solutions. Also, I've been already talking about this already, is about HIPAA compliancy. We've got a complete organization that stands behind everything we do called Compliancy Guard that will help simplify the entire compliancy tracking that will truly satisfy all the HIPAA rules and regulations, everything that has to do with high-tech risk assessments of requirements. We've got all that covered. You don't even have to do anything. All we got to do is get the doctor and our group that takes care of this, which is Compliancy Guard, and they do the rest for you. You get a residual out of it. It's a great way to start making some money and build trust with these doctors. Quick Collect, there's money that's left over from 2023 that needs to be collected. Sometimes not everybody gets to get that done. So this is one of those areas, again, to prove solutions with proven solutions can help you build and get that first client. Now, I mentioned earlier, just a moment ago, about a practice analysis questionnaire. I'm going to kind of show this to you. It's a little bit longer than this, but all I have room on the screen is just kind of show you 3 of the pages of it. But what it does, it's going to, remember I mentioned earlier, let's say that, again, you go into the doctor's office, you end up meeting with the person that might be the HIPAA compliancy officer. And remember, I said, hey, whenever it comes time, you got a little bit of downtime. I'd like to come spend about 10, 15, 20 minutes. I want to kind of learn a little bit about the business here for the doctor, but also want to present to the doctor a practice analysis questionnaire. Whenever I was asked not too long ago about doing somebody's billing, I told them, I said, I'd like to help the doctor, but I can't do anything until I do an analysis. There's no cost to the doctor, but I need to get some information to see if there's a way that we can even help him in the first place. This is what the practice analysis questionnaire does. It helps you discover everything that's going on. You can't tell a doctor whether you can help them or not. That's kind of like walking to a doctor's office and say, hey, doctor, I've got this pain here. Can you tell me what's wrong with it? And I need some drugs. The doctor's going to say, well, first of all, I'm not going to give you anything until I do what? An examination, or I'm going to do an analysis. He or she's going to ask you what's wrong with you. I got a cough, I got a pain, it hurts here, it aches here, or whatever. And then they're going to do their examination. They're going to look at you objectively to find out what's really kind of going on. Then they're going to do an assessment. Then they're going to do what's called a plan. That's what's called a SOAP note. It's basically what we're doing here in the questionnaire. We're trying to do a SOAP note on a doctor. We're trying to figure out subjectively what they're saying is wrong. We're going to find out what's objectively wrong. We're going to have an assessment, and then we're going to create a plan of action. What can we do to help you get to where you need to do to get fixed? One of those things that comes out of this is what's called the practice revenue report. Out of that, we're collecting information about how many claims that they end up doing, what's the dollar amount on those claims, if we can find out what their rejection rate has been over the last couple of months, a year, what are they spending on their billing services right now? Are they doing it in-house, or are they having it outsourced? We calculate all that information out. Then we run it through our calculator here. And then at the end, the bottom of that page is going to show them a projected impact on that practice, a projected dollar impact on that practice. And on this particular one, this is actually a real one that I actually helped one of our business owners put together. And in this one right here, you can see that we were able to increase that doctor's revenue by $10,000 a month. Now, let me ask you, if you're showing this and you've asked all your right questions, tell me how much are you selling? You're not selling anything. You just telling the doctor, hey, if you switch doing it with me, there's a possibility of increasing your revenue already right at the ballpark, about 10 grand a month. I've had most doctors say, gosh, if you can get me half of that, I'll have you as my biller. So there's no selling involved in this if you do it the way that we teach you how to do that. And it really all begins with physician education. And that's one of the things that we love and try to do the most, is help these doctors understand, by beginning with the new thriving medical practice, by getting this information into the doctor's hands, they can start to realize that rejections have held steady. Rejections of claim have held steady on an industry-wide basis about 30%. And they're probably going, yeah, that's about right for me. It's either right at 30 or a little bit below that, but I know it's in the double figures. But folks, we can show them here is how we can help to reduce that, where it's only going to be about only 2% with you. And that's what that practice analysis actually starts to reveal. And really, what kind of specialties can you look at? Well, obviously, most people are thinking, well, you've got your primary care, you got some other doctors that you might kind of be a little bit more familiar with, but we're going to show you how to start reaching out to all of these different types of doctors, because all of these folks bill on what's called a CMS 1500 form. And that's through the iClaim platform. We're going to show you how to process that, get all that in there, because if one of my things I'm going to share with you right now, we really are coming to the top of the hour, and that is we want to make sure that you understand that this system is a complete system, and it's going to catch all the different errors that could possibly happen once that claim starts to leave the process, the system, even before it gets to the insurance companies. As you can see here, we will find those errors before they leave the system. We'll get those fixed, because what's built inside of the iClaim system is our own clearinghouse. This is a very important part of the iClaim and EMRx platform that you won't find with any other platform. So let me tell you here, I want you to, here's your third thing I want you to do. I've already given you a couple, and this is the last thing I want you to do. I want you to get back with your business coach and ask them to do a demonstration of the iClaim EMRx platform. Now, again, there's no obligation for you to keep moving forward, but folks, you need to hear about all of that. Now, we've kind of come up, there's some more slides that I have here, but literally, folks, we've run out of time. And I want to make sure that you understand here at American Business Systems, and the one thing that you can learn out of most important about anything, that we still know and feel like we are the only business opportunity / franchise out there in America today that actually gives a 30-day money-back guarantee. What does this 30 days include? It includes your entire training. You can sit and go through the entire training, get all the materials shipped to you, go through the training. Even after the training's over, you probably still have another week and a half left to still make your decision to whether you're going to stick with this or not. And at the end of that 30 days, if you feel like this is not for you, simply call back, get back with your business coach and go, you know what? It's still not making sense to me. It may make sense to me a little bit later, but you know what? I'm just a little bit afraid. I don't want to move forward. What do I need to do to get my money back? And folks, we know that since we've done it the way that we're doing it now with a 30-day money-back guarantee, we haven't had anybody ask for their money back. Doesn't mean that it won't happen, but it is just that solid of training, and we feel like we've done a lot here to kind of help you move through. So let me kind of share with you the next steps of some things that you might want to do. First of all, I want you to take down the phone number. If you don't know who your business coach here, I want you to call that 866-565-8413 number. Give us a call. We'll make sure that you get set up with the person that we want you to be with, or you want to be with. It doesn't matter. But what I want you to do, once you get that person, or you already know who that person is, ask them to send you this research guide. You need to have that along with the 5 steps of success, or those 5 secrets to success. Make sure you get both of those documents before you show up next Wednesday. Then go browse our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/YABS. On that, like we've said in the past, last year, guess how many webinars we did? We did 52. Well, how do we know that? There's 52 weeks in a year. We didn't miss one. Now, this year's going to be a little challenging because I think Christmas Day actually is on a Wednesday. So we're going to try to figure out how we're going to do that this year. We've done it in the past. We've been doing it for so long. We know what to do. But anyway, they're all out there. And if you've missed the last 2 or 3 webinars, you want to go back and check those out. Then I want you to get a list of the some ABS references. Start making some calls to folks that have already been through. Obviously, they've been through some of these webinars. They've already gone through training. They've struggled, tried to get their business up and going. They learned all of their lessons. Listen to those folks and shortcut how you can get to success. I've already mentioned to you that I want you to get with your business coach and set up a live demo. We'll set that up. And what's important about this demonstration here is that once you become an ABS business owner here and you've got a doctor that wants to see your system, instead of you doing the demonstration for the doctor, we still do the same demo that we're going to be doing for you for free right now. We'll still do that as many as you want us to help you do. Then get a hold of the purchase agreement. I think it's a link now that your business coach will send to you. You can go grab that, review it. I think it's about 5 pages long. But one of the things I always like to point out is on the first page, it shows the conditions of the refund policy. You can read through that. It's only 1 paragraph long. There's no wiggle room for us. It's straight there. It's not in fine print or anything. You can see it on that front page. Then finally, when you're ready, get your funding and your training started. We're here to help you get started. We can get you started as early as next week. Folks, this is a great time He always in the beginning of any year, the end of a year, the beginning of a year. And when I say that, I would say this carries all the way through the first quarter of the year. It is probably one of the most prime times of the year that you can help get your first client. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to get them through May and June and July either. But if you're looking for a kind of a high end time, it's usually at the first 3 to 4 months of the year, and it's always at the last 3 to 4 months of the year. That middle part, you're just going to start getting them because you've already been out there marketing. So those are going to all come to you. So I'm going to put this back up here. Give us a call at 866-565-8413. There is one person that's asked a question here that I've kind of reserved towards the end. Emmanuel is asking if we make such a promise that we can help them increase their claims by 10,000, and the doctor says he is on board if this is possible. Can we go ahead and do it? What if we did not make the 10,000? Well, folks, again, what you're gonna when you're doing this practice analysis, we always go to the lowest common denominator. So, but it's always going to be based upon their numbers. So we're not going to make up anything. This is their numbers, and so this is just a projected, and that's all it becomes. It's a projected analysis of what we know of their numbers. It's going to vary once you always start getting into it. Sometimes it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but it's always based upon the doctor's numbers. And then lastly, Emmanuel's asking, what type of care home can we also do billing for? We can do billing for home health companies. You can do billing for nurse practitioners who are seeing patients in the home. You can do billing for, really just about, again, anybody that does billing on what's called a CMS 1500 form. So I hope today was helpful for you. We had a great crowd that started. We only dropped maybe one or two because I'm sure it was at the top of the hour. If anybody's got any last minute questions, now's the time to do it. Going once, going twice. All right, no other questions. I hope you learned a lot today. Remember, we're working on information about this whole AI stuff. Is this artificial intelligence going to take over the world, including medical billing? We're working on all that information. We want to make sure that we get you good information, resources that we can source to. So be patient with us. We're working on that information. We're going to get that out to you in the next week or two. But in the meantime, we really want to see what we can do to help you. Make sure you get back with your business coach. Again, I give you some takeaways to do. I want you to go out there and start creating your story. I want you to go out there and see if you can find some type of networking organization you can to attend. And the third thing I want you to do, remember, I want you to set up a demo with your business coach there. So those are three takeaways, 3 action items I want you to do between the time this time and next week until we do it. Okay, one last question. Do you have a cost breakdown for the franchise? Yes. Just get back with your business coach. We can get that for you very, very quickly. So just get back. And if you don't know who it is, again, call us at 866-565-8413. And we'll help you get that set up. Folks, this is a great way to start the year. I look forward to visiting with you again. If you've got questions, send them over here to ABS at info@absystems. If we didn't answer your question today on the webinar, we'll get it taken care of. Listen, y'all have a good evening. Have a great weekend coming up, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.